Yeah. Mickey Humble here. Manze nimerudi tena. Last class tulisoma about how to solve simultaneous equation using elimination method. Na nikasema the next class, which is today, tunasoma how to solve simultaneous equation using substitution method. So leo ni substitution method na hii inakuanga rahisi sana. Hakuna kitu ngumu. Ni kuelewa tu. Kuelewa ndio inakuanga shida. So leo tunatumia method inaitwa substitution method. Last class tulisoma about elimination method. So today is about substitution method. So you can write here substitution method. Sasa hii ndio method tunatumia leo ku solve this simultaneous equation. Tulisema tutatumia the same equations tuone kama the values of x and y are the same, because they should be the same. Of which kama ijatoka the same inamaanisha kuna mahali tumekosea. Sawa? Haya. Sasa tunaanza substitution method. So this is how we start. The first thing unafaa kufanya under this substitution method, you should decide on which unknown you want to make the subject of the formula. On which unknown you want to make the subject of the formula. Remember, we have two unknowns, that is x and y. So the best way to do this, you come and name these equations. So this first equation, you use this dotted and name it as Roman 1. And the second, use dotted points like this and name it as Roman 2. This Roman 1, this Roman 2. So let's take the second equation and make one of the unknowns the subject of the formula. It means you decide to remain either with x on one side or y on one side. That's what we call making unknown the subject of the formula. So let's use the second equation to make x the subject of the formula. So you come and say, so here we have x plus 2y is equal to 350. We want to remain with x on one side alone, which means we are making it the subject of the formula. Okay? Right. Now we say x in the second, this one, this Roman 2, remember, x equal to, we want to remain with x alone on this other side. So it means this one will cross equal sign. Because it is a positive 2y, when it crosses equal sign, it changes its sign to be a negative 2y. So this one will remain the same after equal sign. It is still 350. Now minus 2y, because it is a positive, when it crosses equal sign, it will be minus 2y. So we've already made x the subject of the formula. We've made x the subject of the formula. In which equation? In the second equation. Now what do you do? Because we are using a method called substitution method, you now back substitute in the first equation which you didn't use. But if we had used the first equation to make one of the unknowns the subject of the formula, you back substitute in the second equation. But in our case, we have decided to make x the subject of the formula in the second equation. Now when you back substitute in the first equation. Don't get confused, please. Okay? Now where there is x, we shall replace with 350 minus 2y. In which equation? In the first equation. So remember, we have here 2x. 2x means what? 2x means 2 times x. And what is x? 350 minus 2y. So you come and say 2 into bracket x. And x is 350 minus 2y. You can close the bracket, plus 3y, plus 3y equal to 600, equal to 600, equal to 600. Okay, now we can open this bracket. We can open this bracket. Now we say 2 times 350 is what? Is 700. Then 2 times negative 2y is negative 4y. Then plus 3y, which is this one, is equal to 600. Is equal to 600. Okay. Now we can collect the like terms. We can collect the like terms. So remember here we have negative 4y plus 3y. Negative 4y plus 3y. Okay. So we come and say 700 negative 4 plus 3 is negative y. So minus y, because answer is negative 1. But we don't say negative 1y, we say negative y because there is a silent 1 here. Okay, equal to, 700 minus y equal to 600. Equal to 600. Okay, we want y, remember we want one unknown, which is y. So we make sure we've remained with y on one side. So it means 700 will cross equal sign to go this other side. So we will remain with the negative y. The 700 have gone the other side, equal to 600. Because it is a positive, when it crosses equal sign, it becomes negative minus 700. So minus y equal to 600 minus 700 is negative 100. But what do we want? We want y. So if you want y, what do? We divide both sides by negative 1 by negative 1 to do away with the negative. So divide by negative 1 here, divide by negative 1 here, such that negative will cancel negative and this negative cancels negative. So you say equal to y will be equal to 100. So the same way we've gotten y as 100. To get x, you back substitute in either of the equations now. After you've gotten one unknown, you can back substitute in either of the equation, either the first or the second, because you've gotten the first unknown already. So let's use the second equation, which is easier because it doesn't have many numbers. So to get x, we say x, come and say x, which is this one, plus 2y. 2y means 2 times y, and what is y? 100. So 2 times 100 is 200, equal to 350. We want x, so x will be equal to, the 200 will cross the equal sign, so it will change its sign to be a negative. So it will be 350 minus 200, which is 150. So this is our x, and this is our y. So you come and conclude by saying, therefore, just the same way we did when we were using elimination method, x equal to 150 and y equal to 100. So this is how we use substitution method. So I will just explain again for the sake of understanding. So if you didn't understand, so let me repeat explaining it again. So I said we are using a method called substitution method. When you are using substitution method, you can either decide to name them as Roman 1 and Roman 2. The equation as the first equation as Roman 1, the second equation as Roman 2. Then you decide on which equation you want to use first. So in our case, we've decided to use the second equation first. After you've decided on that, on the equation to use, you decide on which unknown you want to make the subject of the formula. Remember, we have two equations. We have two unknowns, that is x and y. So in our case, we've decided to make x the subject of the formula. It means you've decided to remain with x on one side. So you say x, then x equal to 350 here. Then it was a positive 2y. It has crossed equal sign to change its sign to be a negative 2y. That's why we said x equal to 350 minus 2y. So we've remained with x alone on one side. After that, because we are using substitution method, you back substitute in now the first equation, because we use the second equation to make the unknown the subject of the formula here. So you back substitute in the first equation. As I said, that if we had used the first equation to make one of the unknowns the subject of the formula, we would have back substituted in the second equation. But in our case, it is vice versa. That's what we've done here. So where there is x, we shall replace with 350 minus 2y. Therefore, we come to the second equation and say 2x. 2x means 2 times x, and what is x? It is here. That's why we say 2 into x is, which is here, 350 minus 2y plus 3y equal to 600. Then you open the bracket. 2 times 350 is 700. 2 times negative 2y is negative 4y. Then plus 3y equal to 600. Then we collect the like term. So that's why we've written 700 here. Then minus 4y plus 3y is negative 1. That's why we've written negative y, because we have the unknown here. 700 minus y is equal to 600. To get y alone, you make sure that this one crosses the equal sign. You change its sign because it was a positive. When it crosses the equal sign, it changes to negative. So we will remain with negative y equal to 600 minus 700. So negative y is equal to 100. To get y alone, you divide both sides by negative 1, here by negative 1. So y alone will be 100. To get x, you back substitute in either of the two equations to get x. In our case, we've used the second equation to back substitute. So x plus 2y, and y is 100. So 2 times 100 is 200. That's what we've written here, is equal to 350. To get x alone, 200 will cross equal sign to be a negative. That's why we've subtracted 350 minus 200 to get 150. And that's how we get the unknowns. And that method that we've used is called substitution method. So I will give student again 1 minute to copy this. Okay, now you can find me on YouTube, because this work shall be I'll post this work on YouTube. Mickey Humble, search Mickey Humble, you will get me on YouTube. You can also reach me via WhatsApp through my phone number, which is 0717 065 345. I repeat, 0717 065 345. Or you can reach me via my Airtel number, which is 0738 180 812. 0738 180 812. Thank you, and let's meet in our next class, when we shall be learning how to solve simultaneous equation using graphical method. Our next class, we shall learn how to use graphical method. Be blessed.